I have loved a lot of Chelsea Wolfe albums in the past: Apocalypsis, Pain is Beauty, Abyss. She makes some very gothic folk music, and recently she's been mixing in rock music as well. A lot of doom influence on that last album, Abyss, which again was one of my favourites of 2015. This new album, Hiss Spun, continues down that path for sure. We have even darker and more demented moments on this album that I've been quite captivated by whilst listening to this album. Those death growls on Vex took me completely by surprise. Each time that song comes on, I'm still in awe of that moment where Aaron Turner, I believe it is, comes in with those screamed vocals right at the end of the track. And at that point, it kind of occurred to me that this album can be classified as a metal album, because the rest of the album honestly delves into quite blackish moments, which I do find really cool. And if anyone can pull this off out of nowhere, it is Chelsea Wolfe. I mean, she does make music that really grips you and is very tough and hard to take in. Even with her lyrics, there are some moments on this album that's quite strange in the way she's presenting herself, like on the track 16 Psyche, where she's talking about how she's spent her many moons in different beds, I'm guessing referring to having lots of lovers in the past, and how none of them quite work out for her, but she does get quite sexual on the second verse too, with the I feel it crawl up my legs, let me wrap you up in these thighs. But with haunting instrumentation to go with it, you can't really help but think that this kind of thing is also depressing to her, perhaps, having many lovers and not being able to keep the one person. I don't really know. But the way her vocals sound on this album and the instrumentation to go with it does give off this loneliness feeling. Lyrics as well, that you cut me open, you lived inside, lived implying that this person is no longer there and they've left her. There's certainly this sense of betrayal lingering on this album too, especially with lyrics like you and I won't grow, you and I in our wild won't listen, it was rife with unholy offerings, it was rife with the flowers of deceit. Very poetic lyrics, but the type of poeticism to come from someone that is truly in a disturbed place, which unfortunately feels a little bit too much for my ears and my stomach. I think a lot of this album does kind of wringle inside of me in the worst kind of ways, and I think that's what Chelsea Wolfe is aiming for, no doubt about that. I mean, she's really done that in the past and executed it so well, but this time around I'm just feeling like there's a lack of connection to the album. Not only that, but lack of diversity in instrumentation too. I mean, every track could easily be interchangeable with the next. I don't know, maybe it's just me that thinks this, but I don't feel like this is one of her most standout albums, even though it is Chelsea Wolfe, so a Chelsea Wolfe album is better than your average album, but my high expectations of all her albums does mean that this one hasn't quite reached that expectation. Although lyrically I'm very much invested in this album, I do love reading into these lyrics. There's this paranoia lurking through and this betrayal. Again, with lyrics like, I'll be screaming through the afterlife, I'll be hunting for you buried under flowers. That is just some dark and twisted shit right there, Jesus. So I can't argue that this album isn't impactful. Of course it absolutely is. It's a Chelsea Wolfe album. I would recommend it anyway for metal fans, especially this time around, and for old fans too. I would say that this is a B-. It's pretty solid, but I just don't feel like I'm as attached to it as her older stuff, which is fine. You can't love every album by an artist that you like, but it's still quality music. So yeah, if you like this review, make sure you subscribe for more reviews. Let me know what I should review next, and tell me what you think about this album, and have a good day.